Hey there, Disney fans, and welcome to ParkTalk, your local look at everything awesome in Orlando. I'm Diane.
And I'm Bill, and today we are not going into the parks.
Really?
We're going to go to Downtown Disney and then International Drive.
Okay, sounds like a good trip.
So what's going on at Downtown Disney, Di?
There was a little trip that we took last week, and we were actually there because we had heard rumors that a Marvel store opened, and lo and behold, wham, we came around down the path, and there it was. It's called the Superhero Headquarters, but it is a Marvel store.
And it's so fantastic. It's located right in between D Street and the Candy Cauldron. I think there was a soccer store there before, but I don't really remember.
I think that's what it was. I always have a hard time remembering when new things go in, like what was there before.
Unless it's something that's well loved, and then you'll know from Twitter that it's going away.
Right, like if the Harley store disappeared, I know exactly where that is, or the D Street store. I would know where those are, but everything down there on the west side is kind of like always changing, always has been changing. And there's kind of, for me, that's weird stores down there, like stuff I do not shop at. So the soccer store and stuff like that, I know that appeals to a bunch of people, but I would hardly ever go in there. So that's why I don't remember. But now I will remember the Marvel store.
But now that it's a Marvel store, we'll be in there, and so will my credit card.
Yes, and we've already spent some money in there in case you didn't know.
I did.
In case we tried to sneak that past you.
I've got an awesome Shield sticker on the back of my charger now.
Well, why don't we tell them what we discovered in there? It's really one of the most coolest stores I have ever been in, probably ever. I mean, really, it's so cool. We're so into Marvel. We are big fans of Shield and Agents of Shield show, the Marvel movies, the Marvel universe, everything. So when this store was talking about being built and opened, we were very excited. And when we got there last week, we were just
completely blown away.
It's just amazing. Now, it's not as big as I thought it was going to be. It's not like a Darth Mall, size store, which it should be, I think, in my opinion.
Could be.
It definitely could be. So it's your average size Disney store. If you've been in D Street, it's kind of the same size, I would say. What I loved about it is that each one of our Marvel heroes, let's say from Avengers, had their own section. And what I thought was cool was the themed merchandise to each superhero.
I know, it was so great. I love when you walk in, there's a large Shield emblem on the floor.
Yes,
They had the Shield stuff. Like I said, I picked up a Shield sticker for my car.
Yes, and they had a cool keychain too, which I really loved.
They did have a good keychain.
But I liked how as soon as you walked in and you looked to the right-hand side, you walked immediately through the door and you saw like they all have their own, I don't know what to call it, like they're not plaques, but like their own little sign.
It's like a sign with information about the character on it.
Right. So their name's on it. There's a picture of them, a little bit about them, and Iron Man has one, Nick Fury has one, Captain America, Hulk, and all the Avengers.
Did Black Widow have one?
I don't know. I don't think Black Widow had one because I don't think she has any stuff, honestly, in there. I didn't see any Black Widow stuff.
They need some Black Widow stuff.
Yes. She's a cool character, and she's a pretty main character, so I don't know why she wouldn't have her own, little area. But,
this is true.
I think the focus is on Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Iron Man. Definitely. And there was a Guardians of the Galaxy area over there to the right-hand side in the corner.
And then they also had the Marvel Most Wanted section.
Yes.
With Thanos and Loki, Red Skull.
Right. And the Chitauri.
Of course.
So that's really cool. They included some great villains, which Loki's my favorite. What's your favorite villain? Marvel villain?
Probably from Spider-Man. Venom. He's probably still my favorite Marvel villain.
He is a good villain. I can agree with you on that, but Loki's always going to be the one for me. Anyway, speaking of Spider-Man, I was a little surprised. There is a Spider-Man section in this store. He has his own little kind of plaque up on the wall and picture and merchandise. So I know that Disney is going to be including him, right? What's the deal with him?
Spider-Man is with an agreement with 20th Century Fox. He will be coming back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, because I think they've seen the money that the Disney/Marvel movies make.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk a little bit about that later in the show.
Yes, ParkTalk went to the movies.
Yes, we did. Avengers. Woohoo!
In other Disney Springs/Downtown Disney news, the Boathouse is open with their amphibian cars.
Yes.
We have not been in there yet. We're not in that much of a rush to get in there.
No, we're going to kind of wait and see. We went down to the boathouse and we checked everything out, and there was hardly anybody in the boats. The what am I calling them?
Aquacars, amphicars.
It is pricey. I think, and that might be a little bit of a takeaway, honestly. I know the food is supposed to be excellent in there. Again, pricey. It's really an upscale restaurant for downtown Disney, soon to be Disney Springs, but I'm not sure that it's something that you would do all the time, maybe on a really special occasion because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
Now, I would love to ride in one of those cars, but I don't know that I'm going to spend $100 on it. Maybe if we could get a couple of people with us, but I know they only hold, 3, 4 people?
I think they hold 4.
So I think the concept is so cool, though. They go into the water, they drive into the water, then they drive around, like boats, and then they come out of the water like a car. So I think it's absolutely the coolest thing. And what did they say? They were from like the 1950s or 60s, I believe. So they're vintage cars, and they're pretty old, and I believe they restored them to get them for this special purpose. They bought them, the boathouse, the owner of the boathouse. So it's very exciting, everything that's going on at the boathouse. I love the dock down there. You walk out onto the water. There's a bar out there. It's really, you can eat back there. It's like a whole kind of almost New England feel back there.
Yeah,
you have the lighthouse in the front, and the whole thing is just based on, being out on the water and having fun. So I really love the concept, honestly, but I think the place is very expensive.
Yeah, and you said an interesting thing when we were there. It reminded you of a place we used to go in Cape Cod.
Yes, it did.
Thompson's Clam Bar.
Yeah, it did.
So if anybody listening has been there, you've got a kind of an idea of the boathouse.
Yes, it's a very nice kind of New England-y place. That's what it reminds me of. So I think that's really all with the boat. They do have a gift shop, and everything in there is kind of nautical and
one of the interesting things about Boathouse is it's the only place on Disney property where you can buy an outboard motor.
Yes, for thousands of dollars if you have the cash, definitely.
And if you happen to need one on your vacation.
Yes, if you do. But I really think the Marvel store is going to be a lot more of a draw, and I'll be in there many, many times.
It was so cool.
I love
a little Marvel Lego section.
Yes. What was your favorite, let's say, souvenir in the superhero headquarters store?
I could buy hundreds of dollars worth of t-shirts.
Yes, the t-shirts were very cool.
And I mean, it sounds silly, but for $5, I think my favorite souvenir was my Shield sticker.
Yes, I love the Shield stuff in there.
I immediately came home, cleaned up the back of my car, slapped it right on there.
Cool. Oh, and I think the one thing we forgot about that store is there's a green screen to the left-hand side.
Yes.
And you can have your face
put into one of the Marvel characters. While we were there was a gentleman having his face put into the Iron Man suit. It was actually really, really cool.
It was cool. So there's a lot to do in that store, and I know that we will be going there several times. So definitely bring your cash. We've told a bunch of people about it on Facebook, and they were already saying how broke they were going to be, and they hadn't even gotten there yet. So,
I know.
Everyone's coming for Star Wars weekends in a couple of weeks on the 15th, and I think everybody's planning on going over to the Marvel store. So it is definitely open and ready for everybody to check it out.
Yes, it is.
So what else is going on?
Let's see. I guess this will be the first part of our podcast that's ever really gone off Disney property.
Yes.
Big news in Orlando is the Orlando Eye is having its grand opening actually tomorrow, which is also Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
Yes.
And we spent a good amount of time at the Orlando Eye last week. We have ridden it. We've been in Madame Tussauds. We have been in Sea Life Orlando. And now we are going to tell you all about it. We also watched Nick Wallenda set his world record.
Yes.
Walking on the Eye.
Yes, I felt like last week I was living there. They had so many media events there, which was incredible. I was very happy to be invited to all these events, and I thought it was just wonderful. But they are opening tomorrow finally, and I know everyone is very excited. So which one do you want to talk about first out of the three? Now, just to explain what it is, it's one whole complex. Like, you'll see the Eye from very far away.
Oh, yeah, you can see that thing from all over Orlando.
It is 400 feet high. So you can't miss it once you start getting near it. And if you want to know where it is located on International Drive, aka I Drive. It is called the I-360 Complex. That's where all these places are located. Now, it's not just the three we're going to talk about. There are restaurants, there are bars there. There's like Ben and Jerry's, there's the Tin Roof, and there's a whole bunch of, there's a Tervis store, it's like a whole shopping and eating, kind of, sitting out. There's benches outside, and there's a really nice kind of park setting. If you just want to walk around and just enjoy yourself, bring the kids, definitely bring your kids. Because you got the ice cream, you got Ben and Jerry's. I mean, that caught my eye right away.
And Sea Life.
And Sea Life. So that's really great. Another great tip is the parking is absolutely free.
Which is very rare on International Drive.
Yes. So when you're heading towards the eye, like you're looking out your window, you'll see it. It's past the convention center, if you know where that is. And Pirate Golf is on the right-hand side too. Keep going. You get to the parking lot, which is after the eye. So keep going past the eye. The parking lot's directly after it. Park in there for free, and then you can walk all over. It's a really cool and neat thing. I really like that they've done that. But we wanted to just let you know these tips, in our review so that you can, plan accordingly and you know what is coming. Really, I like knowing what I'm in store for usually when I don't know a place. So I like to get a lot of information on it. Which one do you want to talk about first? Which experience? We had fun doing all three.
The first thing that we will talk about is the one thing we didn't do.
Okay, which was what?
We did not walk on top of the Orlando Eye.
No, we did not, and I don't know that I would have, but...
Daredevil Nick Wallenda, who is known for walking between buildings in Chicago, crossing Niagara Falls...
Crazy guy that he is.
...decided to set a world record by walking 30 yards on top of the Orlando Eye.
While it's moving, it is moving.
Without a tether and without his balance stick.
Yes.
I'm sure that has a better name than balance stick, but that's what I'm going with today.
His little balancing bar, yes, because that would have been impossible to use because of all the wires and the, all the little things.
All the superstructure for the Orlando Eye.
Holding all the capsules together and the wheel together,
So what Nick did was he took a car to the very top of the Orlando Eye. It stopped absolutely at the peak.
Yep.
He had a ladder in the car. He climbed out through the escape hatch at the top and then climbed down to get to the outer hub.
Rim or whatever it is, yes.
And they started the wheel.
Yes.
And he walked 30 yards. It didn't take long, but
he walked pretty slowly though. I mean,
it was amazing because he said they had him mic'd during the whole thing, and
I think he had a GoPro too.
He had a GoPro on him. He did, and they said he said it was really slippery from the humidity and the dew point in Orlando.
Yeah.
He took it slow, but it was just an incredible sight to see. The Today Show was there. I think just about every major media outlet.
I think so.
Including ParkTalk.
Yes.
Was there.
It was awesome. He took his time, but it seemed like it was the quickest stunt ever. I mean, it was like done and over, and it took him longer to come down from the eye, and then he would speak to us at like a little press conference afterwards about what it felt like, and he said it was thrilling and exhilarating and fun. He's never nervous, he says. He plans very well all his stunts. He answered a bunch of our questions about being nervous and scared, and he doesn't seem like he ever gets scared. His family was up in the capsule with him, so he definitely draws on their support and love. And he's a very interesting guy because his whole family, apparently for like the last 200 years, I believe he said,
have walked the wire,
have been in this kind of stunt business walking the wire. So it's kind of in his blood, and he's just so okay with it. I mean, it was just like walking regular to him when he does these things.
It was, and it was, like I said, it was amazing to see, but the one thing I have to mention, I thought the ultimate cool move afterwards was he rode all the way down to the bottom of the eye, standing on top of one of the cars.
Yes, he did.
I thought that was epic.
That was cooler probably in the stunt, I think. I really liked that better, honestly. And that was definitely, he said it was very windy up there, so, I mean, I would have been holding on for dear life, honestly. I really would have.
You'd still be hanging on.
But it was really cool to watch this all unfold and hear him at the press conference on Monday because, you know, the stunt was on Wednesday. We talked to him on Monday. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of been planning this all week, and it was just really great to finally watch it at, like, I think it was 8:15. We couldn't wait. We had to be there really early to set up and get a spot, and we were kind of waiting for him to even go up there, and it just was awesome and phenomenal to watch. And remember, your head's looking all the way up there, and it's just like, wow. I mean, he looked like a little ant up there. You could barely see him, kind of. But he had this bright yellow T-shirt on.
Yes.
And that helped.
Yeah, you could that was definitely made him easier to find.
And I'm glad that, you know, because people are like, well, what if he falls? I'm like, oh,
I'm
God, don't
so
even
glad
say
he
it.
didn't
Don't even
fall.
say it. Of course someone says that, right? But anyway, it was a very fun event. And then afterwards, we got to ride it. So just tell you a little bit about that experience. We had been waiting so long, and we had watched the eye being built for months. Piece by piece, that thing was going together. And when we finally got close to it, so you go inside the main building, we waited online, then they break you up into groups of 10 because it's 10 people per car, and then you'll go through the turnstiles, and they immediately will take a couple of fun pictures of you. So there's a camera on the ceiling, you look up, you kind of get in a circle, you do all these fun things. Then you go see a little 3D or 4D movie, I believe. They give you the glasses, you see the movie. And the movie is just going to briefly tell you and give you like a bird's eye view of what you're going to see when you go up there. It's really cool. And it lasts about, I'd say, 3.5 minutes. Then you finally go outside and you are going to ride the eye now. So it was really, really an incredible experience. I was a little nervous, I must say.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were a little nervous to go up that high because it's 400 feet tall, like I said, but you are just in awe of the size of this thing. And you're like, you feel like a little ant when you're standing out there on the platform and you're looking up at it.
It is so massive.
So it was amazing. And I wasn't even sure I was going to get on the thing because I was very nervous about going up that high. But I was like, I've got to do it. I was dying. You're dying to do it. Everybody's dying to go up there to see what you can see because they've talked about, you know, tell them everything they've talked about, what you could see up there.
They say from up there you can see SeaWorld, Universal, Islands of Adventure, Epcot, the Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. That's one of the unique things about the Orlando Eye. It is the only place in the world you can see 7 theme parks from.
Yes, and there were even rumors that you might be able to see the Space Coast.
They say on a really clear day, you can see Kennedy Space Center as well.
Right. So how many miles is that?
It's got to be about 40, 50 miles,
So
I'd
that
say.
might not be impossible, right?
No, not at all.
So I did get on with my fellow bloggers, and they were some wonderful people that I had met that day. I knew most of them, but I did make some new friends because everybody saw how nervous I was. So we did get up there with a great group of very supportive, loving people, which was really nice to have. And as you're getting in the eye was moving. So it continues to move. It never stops moving. And you jump on, and the capsule was bigger than I thought. It was very spacious in there. There's a little seat in the middle. And then eventually, they weren't working when we were in there, but there will be like iPads, I believe, in there that will give you information about what to look at, and information about the surrounding area, which is really great. So it's going to be a little bit interactive, which is nice. Not that I'm going to play with that thing while I'm up there. So, because you're just so kind of in a trance when you're looking out that far, you know, you're looking out miles and miles. So we're in the car. Everybody's kind of quiet because everybody's looking around. Everybody kind of picked a spot, north, south, east, west. And the car is, like I said, continuing to move, but it's moving so slowly. It feels like you're almost in a dream. You don't feel the motion of it moving at all. It's so smooth. And when we had gotten to the top, so we're going around, you know, we're going clockwise around, and it was just so wonderful to be able to start seeing all the things that you kind of imagine in your mind that you could see from being up so high. So we saw the parking lot, we saw the structure, we're looking around, and then we start getting close to the top, and everybody's like, I see Space Mountain, I see Universal, I see Epcot. And it's just amazing. You could see all these things. So now we're at the top, at the peak. We finally made it to the tippy top, and we're looking out, and I'm trying to move around the car. Like, we're all trying to switch positions because we all want to see in different directions. So unfortunately for us, that day was a bit cloudy. I think if you were listening on the news with Nick's stunt, everybody was concerned. The weather was not supposed to be that great that day, and he might even get rained out. So that it didn't rain, but the clouds definitely moved in. It got really dark at one point, and it was very kind of hazy day. So we couldn't see miles and miles. I looked in every direction. I could see a lot of familiar things, which was really, really cool. And I almost wish like they would have like paused it and stopped, because we're still moving and I needed more time, right? We were all like, we need more time. We're taking pictures. We're shooting video. We're kind of vining it. We're periscoping it. It was like so amazing. Everybody, with the excitement in the capsule was unreal.
I think the only time they'll stop the eye is if they have people like in wheelchairs who have to transfer.
They can stop it. It's not that they can't, but they say the whole roundabout is 20 to 25 minutes, and they're trying to keep to that schedule, which is great. My fear disappeared like within 30 seconds of being on it. It just never became a factor. And even at the top, everybody was like, don't look down if you're scared. I kept looking down at the ground from 400 feet. It didn't bother me one bit. It really did. You feel at such peace and serenity up there. It's just amazing. It was a great feeling. And I would definitely have ridden it around again because I didn't see everything I wanted to see. We saw the balloon, Characters in Flight, was up at the same time we were at the top, so you could see that
so cool.
Very clearly. We got good pictures of that. So my tip is definitely, if you have any binoculars, definitely bring them. I know they're kind of an old-fashioned thing, but they would be awesome. I wish I had had my old, like an old pair of them. Because we zoomed with the camera as much as I could, but it still wasn't enough. But I think the binoculars would have even helped with clarity.
Absolutely.
Because it was so hazy that day.
Yep.
But I really think you need to do it a couple times so you can move about the capsule very easily. Mm-hmm. It was just, even going down now, you still felt calm and peaceful. It was not abrupt. It was not fast. It was not like a Ferris wheel. It was nothing like a Ferris wheel, like when you were little at a carnival.
Right.
It was nothing like any ride at any a theme park or anything like that. You got no jerking around. Though there was no wind. There was nothing. I'm not kidding. There was nothing.
And it's air conditioned.
And it's completely air conditioned, which is great because it is warm and humid here in Florida. So definitely. So as you're coming down very slowly, but quickly, because you just want to stay on this wheel, you get off. It's still moving. Everybody exits. And then you go right in the other door, back into the building, and that's where you see your pictures. So the pictures you took before you got on, you get to see them now. You get to buy them and everything like that. And then you enter through you exit through a gift shop. And you're back out into the main building.
And I was so ridiculously jealous of you. I had to work that day, so I was not able to join Diane. But the coolest thing, and here's a great tip for everybody, follow @MouseFan Diane on Periscope. Diane periscoped the entire ride.
Yes.
And so from my desk, I got to watch it. And I cannot wait. My tip would be, just from watching her periscope, if you're here for a few days and you are planning on visiting International Drive, pick the day that's supposed to be the most sunny.
Yes. The sunshine is definitely important for this, not only for the picture taking, but just to see so clearly. I mean, that was something I didn't anticipate because I thought when I got up there, I would just be able to see forever and ever, and that wasn't the case. It was cloudy. So in the distance, it looked like, the horizon was meeting all these clouds, and I couldn't really see. I never saw the Space Coast, so I was kind of disappointed. But I think on a really blue sky, no cloud day, bright sunny morning, you will be able to see far.
Right. And then the icons, like for Disney, the castle is gray and blue.
Right.
Spaceship Earth is gray. Space Mountain's gray.
Right. People had no problem with that.
While people could see them,
they
did seem to, like from the pictures you took, they did seem to blend into the background. Like I had to do a lot of fooling around in Photoshop to try to get some contrast on those.
Right.
But you could see that character's inflate balloon clear as day.
Yes, you could. So this is something that you probably need to do a bunch of times, honestly, because the view is going to be different each and every time, depending on weather, depending on what's going on. I think, and like I said, you're moving about in the car trying to see in every direction. And there's so much to look at because you're saying to yourself, I know when I'm driving around, I know all these places. Let me see what they look like from, way up in the sky. And it's great to be able to identify them, which was a lot of fun. So definitely the Orlando Eye, it's great for kids. There's no need to be worried or scared about anything. And like I said, if you are a little frightened, you can sit in the middle. There's a nice little bench there. And the car is so big that you probably would just close your eyes and not even know anything was going on around you, honestly. And it was over quicker than I could imagine, really. It went by so quick. I mean, that thing seems like it's inching along at a snail's pace.
Right.
And it was over within literally 20, 25 minutes. We were back down on the ground and out and getting our pictures.
I know. And the nice thing is it's not a ridiculously expensive ticket.
No, it's not.
It's around $20 to ride the wheel, right?
Yes.
If you just want to do that, or you can get the combo with... It's really interesting. You can get a combo ticket for Madame Tussauds, Sea Life Orlando, and the Orlando Eye. Or, because it's actually owned by the same company, Merlin, you can even combine it with a ticket to Legoland.
Yes, you can. And the cool thing is, and we're going to tell you the prices in a minute, if you want to go to Legoland as part of the, all four of them, they have a shuttle there at the iDrive 360 complex. And the shuttle will take you down to Legoland and bring you back. So if you want to do that as part of your day, you can definitely do that. I mean, going onto the Eye, going through Madame Tussauds and Sea Life is not going to take you all day. So you can definitely do Legoland. I don't know if you'll be able to do all four of them in one day. I mean, you probably could, but...
You probably could.
You might want to do Legoland as your day event and not try to do all four of them. But you can buy tickets for all four. The more you buy, the cheaper it is. And you can get the shuttle, which I think, again, just like the free parking, is awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
leave your car at the Orlando Eye.
The company that owns these attractions really is family friendly. They are trying to make everything family friendly and economical so that you can have the most fun in one place and not even drive down to Legoland, which is
convenient.
Great. So the tickets are... One attraction's $25, two of them $39. If you get all three, it's $49. And if you want to add Legoland and get all four, it's $99.
Which is really a bargain.
Which is a bargain. And I believe you have 30 days to use that pass. I believe they give you 30 days.
That's really cool.
So the more you see, the more you save, which is very true. So you get Madame Tussauds, Sea Life Aquarium, Legoland, and the Orlando Eye, which I think is very cool. I recommend all of them. So would you like to talk about Madame Tussauds?
Yeah, let's talk about Madame Tussauds.
Okay. So on the left side of the complex is the Madame Tussauds Orlando. And inside there, you'll get to see all different celebrity wax figures. We got to go in there a couple of times. And the one that is unique to this, and remember, she's all around the world, I believe. She's in New York City, she's in Vegas. I mean, she's all over with these Madame Tussauds wax museums. The one that's unique to Orlando, there's more than one, but the one that I remembered was Neil Patrick Harris. He is unique to Orlando, so he's not in any other Madame Tussauds, which is really cool because I like him a lot. I think he's great. I think he's funny. So to see his wax figure, I thought was very cool. It looks just like him. And that's kind of what I'm looking at when I go in there. How close to the celebrity do they look like? Now, as soon as you walk in, again, they are going to take your pictures, make a couple of funny faces, and they're going to take a couple of pictures of you. This whole, everything is about taking pictures and making memories and taking them home with your family so that you remember them. So what was your favorite celebrity? Do you want to talk about them individually or how they group them, or how do you want to describe this place?
Let's talk about our favorites.
Okay.
My two favorites are Walt Disney and Steve Jobs.
Yes.
They are two of my role models, idols, two people that impressed the hell out of me. And I thought that they were both amazing, number one, so incredibly lifelike.
Yes.
I love the setting for Walt is in his office with the writing desk with Mickey.
Yes, it was really cool the way they reenacted that, recreated it, I should say.
And then Steve Jobs in his trademark black turtleneck and jeans.
Yes. Oh gosh. My interpretation of that, boy, that when I went up to that and I saw Steve Jobs, first of all, he's tall. I believe they do them exactly
yes,
height-wise.
They're exactly life size.
Yes, so
so
they're
if you
all
were
life
taller
size.
than Neil Patrick Harris, he's a little man.
No, he's taller than me.
I know.
Steve Jobs is taller than me, and I thought that he was incredibly lifelike. It was amazing. If I didn't know that was a wax figure, I thought he was going to move and like reach out and grab me. He was that. I thought he was that lifelike. He was so unreal. The detail in his face and his posture. I thought it was. You have to see it.
And I was expecting to find out that Walt Disney was exclusive. I thought he'd be the exclusive for Orlando, but they said he's in at least one other.
Yes, I believe I think he's in California too, but he is not exclusive to Orlando, but it's very cool that they included him. I'm very thrilled. It looks just like him, and we were sitting next to him trying to take we were taking these pictures like we just met Walt Disney, which was really cool. I mean, that's the best we're going to get, right?
And that's the closest you're ever going to get.
That's the closest I'm ever going to get to Walt. So it was really, really cool. And let's tell them some of the other celebrities that are in there that are just, as you're kind of winding through all these different rooms. You follow, the path, you follow the crowd, and you just go room to room. And in each room, they have a bunch of celebrities and famous people. They're not all celebrities. They're famous, some of them.
Two really interesting ones at Orlando is Shrek and Fiona.
Yes. Gigantic.
Which I thought was hilarious, and they are enormous.
I'm not really sure why they're there, honestly. I don't know why they're in there, but they are in there.
I guess they didn't want to offend Universal by having Walt Disney and then not having anything from those other theme parks.
Yeah, the other theme parks.
The Miley Cyrus was really good.
Yeah. Miley Cyrus. All right, so they have the rock and roll room. Let's just tell them a little bit about that.
Sure, let's do the rock and roll room.
So Rihanna's in there, Beyonce, Michael Jackson, Elvis, Ricky Martin, Miley, I'm leaving someone out, Katy Perry, Madonna. I believe that's the whole room.
Yes, Madonna's there in her bullet bra.
Yes, very interesting. And then there was, when you first walk in, there's a kind of tribute to Florida. It's the kind of Ponce de Leon room and the Explorer, and there's kind of some pirate ship in there with the cannon. So it's kind of a tribute to Florida, which is really cool. And then there's the kind of famous people room where you have Albert Einstein.
The Uncle Sam one, even though he's not a real person, the Uncle Sam one was really cool.
Very cool. Neil Armstrong. And I'm missing some, Thomas Edison. So you get to see some famous figures really kind of close up. Then there's a sports area. So we have some tennis. We have one tennis girl, Serena
Williams.
And it did not look like her that much. I thought that one was a little kind of...
Not their best job?
Not the best job. She may be hard to do, but I mean, it looked like her, but I was kind of not my favorite. Derek Jeter's in there, Dan Marino, Shaq's in there, because of course he's here in Orlando.
Right, of course.
And I just thought, I'm forgetting someone. Tiger Woods, yes, which looked like him. There's something here for everybody. Taylor Swift was there. She's not in the rock and roll room. She's kind of out in the hallway a little bit on the way. And Oprah, Steven Spielberg, and then there was the celebrity room, which I think the most impressive one in there. I could not believe how tall Leonardo DiCaprio was. He was towering over me.
And then the Will Smith sitting on the bench.
Yes, that was kind of freaky because he also looked like he was going to move.
He did.
Mean, really, that was a little freaky. And Brad and Angelina, Jennifer Aniston, Emma Watson, Anne Hathaway, and I'm leaving out a bunch of people, I'm sure. But there's so much to see in this Madame Tussauds. I'm not sure entirely it's for kids.
I think kids might be a little creeped out.
Yes. I didn't really see that many kids through the walkthrough. I know they were there, but I'm not sure even they'd be interested in it. They're more, and the next thing we're going to talk about definitely is way more
what about the one photo op in there? Well, I mean, there's a million photo ops, but the one that's really set up is E.T. and the bicycle.
Yes. There are several of the people who work there throughout Madame Tussauds ready to take your picture with the celebrities. So you can have your picture taken, I believe, there's an opportunity with Neil Armstrong, there's Andy Warhol, they'll take your picture with him and make the background kind of all like 60s. There's like, what's the soup
Psychedelic?
thing? Yeah, the soup ad he painted or
Campbell's.
something. The Campbell's soup he painted. So they have that kind of psychedelic thing in there. They'll take your picture in front of that. And then, E.T. with Steven Spielberg, that whole section. He's got like his own section because Jurassic Park's back there too.
Right, of course.
And you can take your picture there. Oh, and there's the scene from Grease with Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta in the Shake Shack. You can get on the Shake Shack. They'll take your picture there. So there's plenty of opportunity to have your picture taken, a bunch of opportunities. And you can also have a wax mold made of your hand to take home with you as a souvenir. You can do that too. So there's plenty of stuff to do in the Madame Tussauds Museum.
I'd get them to do my hand, like standing up, like Thing from the Addams Family.
Yes, they probably would do that.
Put that bad boy on a shelf.
They have plenty of people's hands, I guess, that they kept for you to look at examples.
Practice.
Yes, practice. So there's plenty of that. And I believe there's some celebrity palms in there as well that they did. So I didn't realize that. We walked through a few times because you can't see it all at once. You miss things. So we were able to go back and walk through it again and take more pictures and kind of really look at the celebrities and see, really what and they will let you touch them. You can walk up to them. You can take a selfie with all of them. It was fun. Oh, Jimmy Fallon's in there too. We took a bunch of selfies with his. And you can actually touch their hair, touch their clothes. They do not mind you touching the wax figures, which I thought hands off, don't touch. That's not the case. You get to feel how lifelike their hair is. And I believe a lot of them donated their own clothing for their wax figure.
Right. The football player that's in there, I'm not a football guy, so his name's already evacuated my head.
Dan Marino?
I heard that he donated the entire uniform for the wax figure.
Ah, okay. Yes, I'd heard that about Ricky Martin too. That's one of his actual suits too.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is really cool. I would think that they'd want their own clothes on there, so it looks but exactly like them. If it were me, I'd give them my clothes.
Exactly.
So it looked like me. That only makes sense. They're kind of famous for their clothes too, like Madonna is for that outfit. And also Katy Perry had I remember that from her concert,
that crazy red, white, and blue outfit.
Yes. So they're kind of, even Beyonce's known for her clothes. Miley is too. So I'm sure they all did. And that makes sense. So it makes it more realistic, more fun to go through. So,
True.
And then there's another gift shop when you exit, get your pictures when you exit, and then make your way now to the Sea Life Aquarium.
Which, that has got to be, other than the Eye, my second favorite attraction at I-360. Madame Tussauds is very, very cool, but I can't see myself going there over and over and over again.
No.
But I can see myself spending a lot of time in Sea Life Orlando.
Yes, because the fish are always changing, always moving around, always keep on swimming.
Yeah. And they
just
have...
keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
They have the coolest 360-degree tunnel in there.
And our fun fact we're going to call it our ParkTalk fun fact, is it's Orlando's only 360 underwater tunnel. Now, what's unique about this? Do you want to tell them why it's so unique?
The entire thing is clear, and it is entirely not suspended, but it is...
It feels like it.
It feels like it.
It feels like it.
It's above the bottom. So as you're walking on this plexiglass floor, and if you look down, there's fish swimming under you.
It was
if
so
you look up,
cool.
There's fish swimming above you.
I know.
To the left, to the right, anywhere you look, except for straight ahead or behind you, fish.
Now, we've been in a lot of aquariums. We've even been to the mighty Georgia Aquarium, which was phenomenal, unbelievable. But this aquarium at Sea Life Orlando, I just thought that was the neatest darn thing I'd ever seen, that the floor was completely see-through, and I could just...
It's so amazing.
People were kind of like putting their foot out to make sure that they could walk on it, because it looks like water.
That
it
was
looks
so
very
funny.
Deceiving. And it's the neatest thing. And you just you're walking through the tunnel, and it's kind of like, I think some people were kind of like weirded out by it, because it looks like you're walking through water. It's that realistic. It looks like you're walking through water, and it was so neat. I loved this aquarium. Loved it. It's small. I mean, it's a nice size. It's not small. It's like a medium.
Right.
It was so nice to walk through. We took our time. There was so much to see. It was interactive. It was educational. You get a little booklet so you can do stamps along the way as you go through each of the sections, which we will explain to you in a second.
But there's just so much information given to you. Like, there's signs everywhere giving you interesting facts, and it's just amazing. Do
you want to just give them a rundown of some of the animals you might see?
Sure.
Just all over kind of where they might, you don't have to say where they are, but just give them a kind of idea so that they could, if they want to tell their kids some of the things they might see there.
Yeah, absolutely. There are sharks. There are reef sharks. There are blacktip sharks, I believe. There are jellyfish, sea turtles, seahorses. The seahorses were so cute.
Yes. But I liked the
horseshoe crabs.
I did like the horseshoe crabs. I love them. And it's sea stars. Remember, they were insistent. It's sea stars, not starfish.
Okay.
Yes, they were insistent on that.
I kept saying starfish.
I know, everybody says starfish, but they're called sea stars.
But it was just so amazing. So incredibly pretty, so well done. I loved the like tiki heads in most of the tanks.
Yeah, that was really cool. Giant tiki heads were in there.
Oh, they're enormous.
Crazy in the tanks there. But what I really liked was the fact that it was also educational and you learned as you went. They really want you to understand about the SeaWorld.
Oh, and one of the most popular fish in Florida you can see there. The grouper.
Yes, we saw the giant grouper.
Which, when I left there, I was hungry after seeing that grouper.
Oh boy, you shouldn't say that. The poor fish, he's only there, he's there to just show. He's not,
So he's a friend, not food?
He's a friend, not food. Fish are friends, remember?
But then you can go right down the street and get a grouper sandwich.
Yes, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about how big, he was gigantic. I'll give you that. God. He was gigantic.
You could have got like 50, 60 sandwiches out of him.
Again, with the food. He's not food. Fish are friends. And we're trying to educate and promote conservation, which is what they do at Sea Life Aquarium, because they want everybody to understand that we need to take care of the oceans, we need to take care of the fish, and we need to teach our children the same thing, which is really a cool thing, because if we don't take care of them, we won't have any fish to look at, because they will just overfish grouper sandwiches.
It's true.
But anyway, they rescue sea turtles also. They breed vulnerable species. So they have a lot of different programs where they are protecting the local habitat and educating people, and definitely rescuing the sea turtles. There's a lot of that here in Florida. They get caught in everything. They get hit by boats, they get hit by the motors. Their shell gets damaged. So there's so much rescuing of turtles. We hear it all the time. It's so sad.
We do, and it's one of my favorite things on the news. One of the things I love about living here is every time they return a sea turtle to the ocean, it makes the news.
Yes.
So it's nice to have a few feel-good stories in
Yes,
there.
It definitely is.
Oh, and the stingrays. Stingrays are my favorite fish in the world, and they had some incredible stingrays there. I can watch those things swim for hours.
I know that tank that had the stingrays and the sharks in it, like they almost were they look like baby sharks, because they're about 2 feet long, I think.
Yeah, they're very
young.
But
that was a normal shark. It was just that little species of shark. I forgot what the name of it. It looked like a little hammerhead, but it was called something else.
The bonnethead.
Bonnethead, that was it. So they had some little bonnetheads, sharks, which were so cute, and they just not threatening at all. They just look so cute. But they're in the Stingray Cove. So the different sections, when you walk in, again, they're going to take your picture. You're going to put on some funny paper, like shark glasses. It was really cute. They took a couple of pictures. And then you start winding through, and they have a Pacific Ocean section. They have an Atlantic Ocean section. They have an Indian Ocean section. They have a seahorse area, a shark shipwreck, a coral sea, a Stingray Cove, an Everglades. And then you can do a behind-the-scenes tour, too. Remember, we saw signs for that, which I want to do that. I want to do behind the scenes, because I love seeing the tanks behind the scenes. But they also, one of the most interesting parts was, I believe, the Everglades area, because, again, we live in Florida. It's a tribute to living in Florida. Learning about what's in the Everglades, not just, alligators
not
and
just
stuff.
Gators and snakes.
there's other wildlife that lives in the water there, which is, you try to educate your kids and let them know, what's around in their, in their area. So, which is really cool. So there was a lot to see, a lot of tropical fish. I mean, there was tropical tanks everywhere. It was so cool.
And do you want to tell everybody about the mascot of Sea Life Orlando?
Yes. There is a cute little, I shouldn't say little, there is a shark that walks around. His name is Magnus. He is the mascot, and you can take pictures with him and meet him and get his autograph.
You can high fin him.
And he was walking around as we were going through the aquarium, which was really cool. He was outside. He was everywhere. Every time I turned around, I saw Magnus. He is so cute.
I think there might be more than one Magnus.
And he has his own little stuffed animal, his own little plush at the gift shop. So
I know.
Got to pick that up. Yes.
It was cute.
It was very, very cute. One of the cool things, though, that I loved about this aquarium is there was an interactive screen. Like, I think it was kind of halfway through almost. And if you want to learn about sharks, we touch the screen, pull up the shark you wanted to learn about. So we hit great white. That's our favorite shark. Great white came up on the screen. It was so cool. I was watching actually somebody do this too. You kind of ran your finger from the beginning tip of his nose, all the way over to the end of his tail. And as it went, you saw like his muscles. It was kind of like an x-ray almost going over him.
Yes.
With your finger on the screen. And it was, you could see his muscles, his skeleton. It was the coolest thing I have ever seen. And it was like these 3 screens kind of like at a movie theater almost in this one room, and the person to the right of me was playing some sort of game also on the screen, a shark game. It was really, really cute. So I love the interactiveness, and there were kids everywhere. The kids were laughing, running. They were having such a good time. There are tunnels for them to walk through that are their height.
Yes.
Where they can see the fish up close, which is really cool. I mean, there's a lot of stuff for the kids to enjoy and get involved in and learn. I mean, they make learning fun at the Sea Life Aquarium. That's what I like, because I love when our kids go and they are so happy to be at the place we've taken them.
I know.
So this is definitely a kid-friendly place. They're gonna love the Sea Life Aquarium.
Absolutely, and I cannot wait to go back, and we're definitely going to get the 3 attraction pass the first time that we go as a family.
Yes, definitely. It'll be a lot of fun. So there's a lot to do, and like I said, you can get this all done in one day, half a day even probably.
Absolutely.
I mean, you take your time at the aquarium definitely, and you'll have a blast. And you go through it and you just check out all the fish. It's a wonderful place. It really is. I give this 2 thumbs up, definitely. It is definitely a stop that you need to make when you come to Orlando. I
mean, Merlin has done a great job of making the Orlando Eye, Madame Tussauds, and Sea Life Orlando a must-see.
Yes, and I think they had said they built this as much for tourists as to bring some local business back in, because that area had really been not desirable to go on. iDrive is mainly known for tourists, and the locals usually stay away from that. We don't really go down there that much, but now they're trying to bring it back, which is good.
Yeah, there are so many reasons to go to International Drive.
Yes, and I think that they are creating these new areas and these new attractions for tourists and locals alike, which is great because the area is very pretty. It's very well planned out. It's a nice area, like I said, to just sit. There's like fountains there and benches, and the greenery, the plants are beautifully designed and placed. So it's a nice place to just go and visit with the family.
Definitely.
And again, I love that the parking is free and close. I love that the Ben & Jerry's is there, so there's places to eat. And I believe the Skeletons Museum is also part of that. We have not gone in there yet. I've heard that it's great. People really loved it. They got a preview of it. I believe it's open as well. And you get to see all kinds of skeletons in there from every animal on this planet, I believe. I heard there's a whale in there. There's just insects and just all kinds of skeletons, actual skeletons, real, not fake, in this Skeletons Museum. So there's a lot here at iDrive 360.
There is, and there's so many reasons to come down, and there's so many reasons really to leave the parks.
Yes. Yes.
So plan, next time you're coming, plan an extra day or 2 to spend on International Drive.
Right, exactly.
So the other thing that we have done in an incredibly busy week is ParkTalk went to the movies.
Indeed. Woo!
And we saw Avengers, Age of Ultron.
It was impressive, I must say.
Now, we are going to keep this completely spoiler-free because it is opening weekend.
We would like to tell you everything, but for those of you that have not seen it...
We'll wait a couple of weeks before we really talk about it.
We'll give you a chance. But there was a lot kind of that maybe we didn't like, a lot that we liked, a lot that was kind of kept us wondering about where they're going.
I will definitely say Age of Ultron is 2.5 hours.
Yes.
I do need to see it again.
Definitely need to see it again. Definitely.
They say the first cut of Age of Ultron by Joss Whedon was 3.5, almost 4 hours long.
Really? That long? You heard it was that long? I didn't even hear that. I thought it was at least 3 hours or so.
Nope.
Longer.
They said the first cut was almost 4 hours.
Seriously?
And there is, as you're watching, it's kind of like there's a couple of spots where you're like, it almost feels like there's something missing.
Yes, I think the editing was a little off. Maybe.
I think it was a little, I think they were a little heavy-handed with the editing.
Yes.
And hey, I would have been more than happy with a 3-hour.
Oh, I would have too.
Age of Ultron.
I would have sat there for at least 3 hours, maybe 3.5 if they had included every scene.
Yep.
Yes.
So they say, so I'm hoping when the Blu-ray comes out that they actually put out the director's cut.
Oh, I hope so. You think they will?
I mean, hope so.
Oh gosh, I hope so. I want all those scenes back in because
know.
I do feel like things were cut that needed to be in there, and I don't like that they made that so kind of, not confusing, but just, you do feel like there was more to the story, to the scenes.
Absolutely. Let's see. One thing I will say, since it's been all over Twitter and it's not a spoiler, is Loki filmed a scene.
Yes.
Which is not in the movie.
My favorite villain. Gone.
I know.
Ugh. You know, with all the hype of this movie and all the things that were leaked, because, you know, when things get leaked, I don't want to know. I want to be surprised when I go to the movies, and I want to see it for myself. But that is the one thing that I knew was coming, because everybody had said he had filmed a scene, and we had been hearing, you know, all these characters that were going to be in it. Falcon was going to be in it, and Iron Patriot was going to be in it. I mean, we've seen plenty of clips with all these characters from the other Marvel Universe movies. And so I was so excited to see how they were going to incorporate Loki into this universe, because I had background on what the story was going to be about, you know, Ultron the villain and where they were going with the Avengers. And I was so excited because I was like, well, how are they bringing Loki in exactly? Are they going to go back to Asgard for a few minutes? Are they going to, you know, is he back on Earth?
Right.
I mean, because where we left off, you know, in the Dark World, he was impersonating Odin.
So
I'm like, okay, so where the heck are we coming up with Loki? And I couldn't believe that they had cut that scene. But Joss Whedon, the director, had said that it just didn't fit in the movie, so they cut it. And I was like, oh gosh, now I'm disappointed. But the rest of it, I will give it a great movie. I will say it's great. It is not, in my personal opinion, for me, not better than the first one. I thought the first one was phenomenal, and I thought the storylines were kind of similar. And I've heard other people on Twitter say it too. They're kind of similar between the first and the second movie. So I really wanted something really different and unique with Ultron. I really did. I did not want anything being compared to the first movie. I want new and fun stuff.
Yeah. James Spader, I will say, delivered a fantastic performance. He is one of my favorite actors. I loved him in...
like everything.
Everything. He's fantastic in Blacklist. He was amazing in Boston Legal.
Yes.
He does a great job as Ultron. ParkTalk officially says it's great and worth the $12.
Yes. He's a great villain, I must say. His voice with this character, he's evil. He can really project that, even though it's not him, it's him doing the voiceover. He is just great as Ultron. Evil, bad, just, you know, awesome.
Yep.
I will say I love the new characters, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I loved them. They have really good storylines. They have really good parts. The actors playing them were phenomenal. And I thought they were great in the movie, honestly. They were a great addition. Usually I get very nervous when they start including other, these new characters and they say, oh, they're going to be part of the Avengers, the new characters. I get very nervous about that because I like my core group and I never want that messed with. And when they say, okay, now Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are going to be part of the Avengers, I was like, oh God, how is that going to fit in? Are they going to kill somebody off? Right. Are they going to, how is that going to work? So, I've been wondering about that for months now, and now, of course, I know, but they were great additions to this movie, I thought. Really, really awesome.
Yeah. So if you guys have seen Age of Ultron, let us know what you think. You can tweet us at ParkTalk Podcast. You can tweet Diane at MouseFanDiane. Or you can tweet me at WF McGuire. So we would love to hear what you guys think of it. And
definitely.
We'll keep it spoiler free for everybody else. Give them another week.
Yes, I think next week maybe we'll delve into it a little bit more because we definitely do want to talk about this movie in depth in our usual back and forth conversation and see if you agree with me and I agree with you about certain things. But we don't want to spoil it for you. It just came out and it's doing phenomenal at the theater. It's just making so much money that, yes, more Marvel to come.
Yep. So next week we will have some scoop on the grand opening of Orlando I-360.
Yes. Awesome. A lot going on this week. May is going to be one of those
it's going to be
off
a
the chart
crazy
months.
month.
It's going to be so crazy because May seems to be the month to do everything.
And it's one of my favorite things, Star Wars weekends at Hollywood Studios.
Starting May 15th.
May 15th.
That'll be so cool.
Less than 2 weeks.
We want to thank you guys for listening and tweeting us and emailing us. We really appreciate you guys listening. You're awesome. And we love our listeners. And thank you so much for just, being there for us.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate it. There'd be no point in doing this podcast if you guys weren't out there listening.
Exactly.
And we love doing it for you. And here's my one plug per episode. Please, if you're enjoying the show, go to iTunes, give us a rating and a review. It really means the world to us.
Yes, we would love it.
And hey, if there's something that you guys want us to cover outside the Disney theme parks, shoot us an email. It's parktalkpodcast@gmail.com, and we would love to get some show ideas from you.
Yes, definitely. We have a lot of stuff coming up. This is going to be a very busy month, so you're going to be hearing a lot of Park Talk coming up for this month, which will be very exciting. We will be tired, but we will be there. Definitely. It'll be exciting, but tiring.
Absolutely.
But it'll be one awesome month, and we look forward to Star Wars weekends so much. So we can't wait to tell you all about it. But we do want to tell you, if you would like to check my blog out, it's candoitmom.com. I also do Vines at Disney Crazed Mouse Fan, and you can check us out on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. And like Bill said, I do Periscope a lot, and so does he. So definitely follow us. If you follow us on Twitter, you'll get that little, as soon as our Periscope starts, you get that little tweeting or whatever that is.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you that we're Periscoping. We Periscope a lot from the parks. We did a lot for the Orlando Eye. So definitely look for our Periscopes coming up in this month.
All right. So thank you guys, as always. Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
See you later, Disney fans.